Well, a very good evening to you from wherever you're watching us. My name is Ivan Sokinyi and welcome yet to another interesting episode of the Candid Talk. Now, joining me to understand and demystify the intricacies of Kenyan politics is none other than Professor Herman Manyora. Prof, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Evans.
You actually look smart.
Yeah.
Now, last time we were here with you and we had a conversation on the cabinet, and something quite interesting was about the kind of people, or rather the individuals who were nominated by President William Ruto. Now, we were talking about these people, and you were telling us that politicians, you've got no problem with them being brought on board.
Yes.
And you said that the main thing that should be looked at here is a person, perhaps
integrity,
character. And
yes.
You talked about intelligence and capacity, but I went through the comment section and a number of people actually disagreed with you.
What are they saying?
And they said, somebody here said here, please ask Manyora, how can somebody be assigned ministerial leadership regardless of profession one has? Which intelligence does it refer to? Is it natural, academic, or spiritual intelligence? So please kindly tell us.
I said this. I am not a doctor. I am not a trained health professional. But I can manage Kenyatta National Hospital, and without suffering from the issue of humility, without allowing humility to weigh me down, I can tell you better than anybody has done it. Because I have the capacity to do things. I have the intelligence. Okay?
No, that is you. But
that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, you see, when you go to university, for example, and get a degree, that degree pushes you to a certain level of understanding, to have a mind that can see things, place them where they belong, analyze things, compare things, process information. It is not the degree in chemistry. It is not the degree in Swahili. It is not the BA in history. It is not the BSc in physics. It is a certain level of education that makes you a person of a certain level intellectually. So you get it? When you want people to do actual things, you are looking for technicians. Okay? You are looking for the engineering technologists. But when you are looking for a leader, it is different. The leader would now get the people to manage, the technician, the technologist, to do the work. So as a manager, as a leader, the man in charge of Kenyatta National Hospital, I'll get the best surgeons, the best general practitioners, the best nurses, the best procurement officers. I'll get the best accountants to run the actual thing, the micro thing. But up there you require leadership. Leadership is a capacity level, a question of what capacity do you have. So when I sit with you, I can assess your capacity. Your capacity for understanding, your analytical capacity, your ability to deal with the new situations, your ability to get information, your capacity to learn new things, your capacity to adopt. That is what I'm talking about. And that has nothing to do with the physics you did at Chiromo. Yes.
Prof, if that was the case, then yes. I heard you mention somewhere there is this task force that was formed actually by the president. Yeah?
Yes.
To review the CBC and perhaps give proposals on what should be done. Yes. And you said that 99.9% of those names you saw there know nothing about education. Now then, Prof, and you come and tell us again here that you do not need to be a specialist in a certain field to do anything. All you need is intelligence. If somebody would argue that these people are intelligent enough...
It is still the same intelligence. You are talking about academic qualification. I never talked about academic qualification. You are going back where I say it's not academic qualification.
No. What you're saying is this, Prof. That as long as you are intelligent, you can do any work that has been given.
Who tells you those people have the level of intelligence I'm talking about?
But why would you doubt their intelligence?
There are people, if we came here and I ask them about education, they run away. They don't know anything. Most of them. Some of them are very senior professors.
And that is why...
When an issue, let me tell you how other countries do these things. When there is a hot issue like CBC, there are people in the country, not just from the education sector, who talk about it. You monitor on television, in public engagements. You talk to experts in the areas, and you can quickly assemble a team of people. You get it?
Yes.
But if you confine yourself, now you go to professors of education, again you may miss it. You see, even the same thing when we have a task, when we have a commission, something in this country, we keep looking for lawyers. As if lawyers make law. Lawyers don't make law. You get it? So what I'm saying is, there has been a discourse, there has been discourse on CBC. As a country, this is a small country. We know each other. We know the sort of people who have engaged on this CBC issue. Yeah, in the media, newspapers, on television, in discussion forums, among NGOs, among educationists, trade unions. There are people who have engaged. Those are the people I would have seen a good number of those people there. When CBC started, from the University of Nairobi, it was just I, the letter code in Dangas, and I think one other person who was writing about this thing in the media and talking about them. And 1 or 2, 3 other people. You look for people of that nature and put them there. There are certain professors like Ayuro of Daystar. Hane, a friend of mine now is in America, Professor Hane. Those are the people who came up with CBC, and I was really opposing it myself. And we were engaging. So you look for people of that nature. I'm not saying you look for me. I'm saying if I was the one assembling a team to look for CBC, I would look for people who have shown they have the capacity through engagement on matters of education. Yeah.
Then perhaps are you, because what I'm trying to gauge here is this. Now, the number of people whom you've told us, the numbers of people, the names that you've actually mentioned, these are people who are professionals and have got enough knowledge and experience in matters of education.
There is a young man, I'm just forgetting his name. If I went to my phone, maybe I'll get him. He's a lawyer. Young, almost 30. He has been on TV articulating these issues of CBC. There are people who have articulated these things, and we watch TV. We read newspapers. We know them. We need to look for those people. There are people who even have written to Minister of Education. People like Sosioni were arguing against CBC before they turned around. They had very serious arguments. Those are the people you bring on board. Yeah.
Now, Prof, if this was the case then, if somebody would argue and perhaps say that right now as a country we are at one of the most critical states in matters of education,
yes,
and somebody would say that Ezekiel Machogu is not actually the right person for that kind of job.
Yes.
Getting by the fact that he's got no experience, no expertise, no specialization in matters of education in this country. Whereas we have a number of people and professionals in this particular ministry who could actually spearhead that kind of group and ensure that the education in this country is streamlined and we are to the right level. But then you come up and say that as long as you're intelligent, you have the capacity.
To be fair to Machogu, I don't know him. I used to hear DC Ezekiel Machogu. I hope he's the same chap. Quite a while back. So he's not a very young person. So, but I don't know him beyond him being a DC. And I think being involved in some small kissy politics, MP or something of that nature. So I won't talk about his capacity. But he might as well turn out to be having what I'm talking about. Maybe Ruto has looked at him and seen, this man has the capacity to run education. What I'm saying is, there are people, on top of my head, I can tell you, so-and-so can run the ministry of that docket, so-and-so can run that docket. And a few other people whom we don't know. The president has the capacity to know people I don't know myself. But I can float 2, 3, 4 names quickly. I know you give them education and it's in the skies. Yeah, they have demonstrated abilities. You see. But you see, there are 2 challenges here. Challenge number 1 is that we have refused to see something Manyora has been preaching about all this time. I've been saying, those countries that are successful, the countries we are dying to go to. We die to get a visa to go to America, to Germany, to where? Why? The countries are beautiful. They are clean. Things are working. Systems are working. Everything is working. Do you know why things are working? Do you know why Paris is a clean city? It is because whenever they have a task or a job, they look for the best Frenchman or Frenchwoman to give that job. That's the first problem we have. The second problem is we operate a reward system. So you are looking around in Kisi, saying, the Kisi supported me. I must give a Kisi a ministry. Then it's not just the Kisi. Who among the Kisis was in UDA? And the fingers point to a man like Ezekiel. So you see, we will lose. I must be allowed to repeat, and because I've said this many times, this country is at a stage where we cannot afford to play around. It cannot be business as usual in this country. And I hope people listen to me, pass this information to William Samoei Ruto, my president. Kama ukicheza na kurani hii serikali, unafikiri hawa nyangarika wote unajaribu wanaweza kurani serikali, serikali itaanguka. This government will collapse. This country can go down. We are not at a point where you can play around business as usual.
Okay.
These things are so bad in this country. And this is not the only country. The world is suffering. The world is going through economic pain. Every country is trying to put forward its best foot to survive. If you think you are going to operate a reward system so that you bring just about anybody because they supported you and give them the heavy responsibility of running government, your government will collapse. And the country can go to the dogs.
Now, Prof, another ministry that has actually brought a lot of issues is the Minister of Sports.
Yes.
People are asking, why don't you give somebody who is experienced in those matters, somebody who knows and understands the plight of sports in this country, more of a sportsman who actually knows what is taking place there and understands the problems that this ministry is facing? Perhaps that person would be at a better chance.
So it must be a sportsman.
That's what some people say outside here.
That's the argument I'm saying doesn't add up.
And they're saying that
there are
why don't you
men
give us
and
one of our
women.
own?
There are men and women in this country who, if you give a ministry like sports, they will take it to the next level. They are there. Look for them. But if you look for jokers, because you want to reward them, go ahead. This government will collapse.
If that was the case, if at all we would perhaps go with what people are saying on the ground, that perhaps the Minister of Sports should have been given to somebody, a sportsman, maybe perhaps.
I don't buy that.
Do you then think that there's none of our sportsmen here, rather sportsmen?
If a sportsman can even
who
run,
is capable of running that ministry?
a sportsman can even run the treasury. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't need to get a sportsman and consign him to Minister of Sports. You can run the treasury. But if there's a sportsman who can run the Minister of Sports, the better is an added advantage.
So what you're saying is that it does not matter your area of specialization.
Your area of specialization doesn't matter according to me.
Your experience
It is a capacity. Many people don't have capacity. Let me demonstrate. Let me tell you what I mean by capacity. Because people may think Manyora is talking bad about
And that's
people.
what people are asking.
I have friends of mine, colleagues, who have been appointed ministers, permanent secretaries. You visit him. Unaona vijana watoto wanamzungusha kwa kidole namna hii. He's lost. He doesn't even know who he is. Because he was made a vice chancellor, he was made a minister, he was made a director, he was made this. He doesn't have the capacity. It's not the education you have. It's not the academic certificate. The capacity. Let me tell you this. There are people you give a university to run, they cannot run a primary school. They don't have the capacity. They can't run a primary school. Then you make them vice chancellors. And you see how our universities are collapsing. So a man to run a ministry, you feel him. When Michuki is there, you can feel him. When Matiangi is there, you can feel Matiangi with all his excesses. But you can feel the ministry as somebody. You feel it. You touch, you can touch it. You make somebody, UK, minister in charge of education. There was one in Ghana. He was picked from, I think, diaspora. He brought changes. You can feel there's something on the ground. There's something happening. There's change in the education sector. The teachers can tell you, they can smell and touch the change. Progress. Students can see there is progress. So you need people who can bring something to a ministry.
Okay.
But these charlatans, these jokers, these are just jokers. Another one was given a ministry, turned almost half the floor into her. What do these things women go to, where they make themselves look beautiful? I don't know what it is. A parlor or whatever.
Beauty parlor.
So from home she'll go there, do her nails, do her hair. If I was the president, I'm telling you, I can throw you through the window.
No, Prof, finally, as we wrap up this conversation,
Yes.
yesterday the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, said
Yes.
that he actually defended the move by the President to appoint a heavily political cabinet. And he said that technocrats had lost contact with the people. And he said that it's only the politicians who understand the needs of the people down here. Somebody like Moses Kuri at least knows the plight of his people because he served down there. That is why politicians stand a better chance.
There are many ministries.
of serving.
I want to agree with Rigathi Gachagua. There are many ministries where if you are not a politician, you will not succeed. So given the choice between the so-called technocrat and a politician who is capable, I'll go for a politician. You see, governors, a lot of the governors who have failed in the last 10 years are governors who thought this is an executive office. We are managers. You are a leader, for heaven's sake. You're not a manager. You are a leader as a governor who will employ managers. And if you didn't have the politics, it became so difficult. Those who lost in the first term were people who did not know that that was the most political office of government. So Rigathi Gachagua is right. The politicians, so long as the bottom line is the capacity, the intellectual capacity for somebody, and I'm not talking about education. There are people who don't even have degrees, but they have the intellectual capacity to do a job. That's what you look for. It's not easy. Such a men and women are not many in society, in any given society. Men of that nature are not many. But a good system has a way of identifying them. As a country, you have to develop a system that identifies the men and women who will ensure this country moves from these poverty levels it is operating under. Yes.
But the bottom line is
capacity.
Capacity.
Many people have given you example of my friends. You go to the offices and now a new minister or a PS, you just laugh. Small little boys and girls wanamcheza kwa kidole namna hii. Wanamweka hapo you lose they manage your diary, they manage everything, they manage your thinking. You just become a robot in that office.
So in a nutshell, you're saying that
Yes.
somebody may be specialized and perhaps have vast experience in a certain field but may not deliver at the end of the day if given that
We have made so many mistakes of turning our best teachers into principals. Who told you they should be principals? Let them be good teachers, promote them there, pay them well, they remain teachers. We turned out very good principals into education officers. No! A good principal should develop our schools, but pay him well. We've turned good journalists into managers. You get a good journalist, unayemweka kwa ofisi anaanza kusign paper. No. Let us have people with their careers shine in those careers. No, don't make everybody believe that you have only arrived if you have become a politician. That if you have not become a CS, then you are nothing. No. Wewe fanya kazi yako. Hakuna haja kutoa Kipchumba Murkomen huko, very good senator. Wacha afanye kazi yake Senate. Tafuta mkalenjini mwingine kama unataka mkalenjini. Patia hiyo ministry. Sio kama tunaelewana. But I must congratulate Kipchumba Murkomen. He's a good young man. He's capable. Alice Wahome is an MP. She should not say I'm saying she should not have been given. She's a friend. She's a capable woman. She'll make a good minister in charge of water. There are people of that nature, but basically what I'm trying to say, that let us not tie leadership and equate leadership to academic qualifications and training. No, leadership is different. And actually, although there are some small universities masquerading as teaching people leadership, you can't teach somebody leadership in the manner in which people think. A leader is a person who can make best use of the resources available by giving the people under him inspiration and hope and creating visions to be actualized through strategies that are well developed by him with the people down there who know how to.
Well, I think that now raised the concerns of most of our viewers who are actually concerned about this debate between technocrats and politicians and who stands a better chance of leading various ministries in this country. Well, there you have it from Professor Herman Manyora here, saying very well that it doesn't matter your area of specialization, that all that matters is your capacity and ability to deliver. Well, until Next time, may you have yourself a very lovely day. I've been your host, Ivan Sokinyi. Thank you for watching.